Yo guys, it's Wesley, welcome to the next episode of Comic Conundrum. This time we'll be covering Daredevil. Now I've wanted to cover Daredevil for a while because there's a lot of misconception around Daredevil, because mostly what people know of him is from the Ben Affleck film, which we should all forget exists because it's god-awful. Fuck that movie. Now I want to shed some light on Daredevil because he's actually really cool and he's one of my favourite heroes. So we'll start with his origin, his creation, and his powers. Daredevil was created by none other than Stan the Man Lee, the one true Messiah, Jack Kirby, and Bill Everett, though it's not actually known how much input Jack Kirby put into the process of Daredevil. I suspect he simply one day leant over Bill Everett's shoulder and was like, you should give him horns, horns are pretty rad. Daredevil got his debut in 1964 in his self-titled Daredevil #1. Now this was in the Silver Age of comics. The Silver Age of comics comes after you guessed it, the Gold Age, which is basically from 1955 onwards, and about 20 years before that is what is considered the Golden Age of comics. That's where you have your Spider-Mans, your Fantastic Fours, your Supermans, your Batman. Daredevil, whose true name is Matthew Murdock, was raised by his single boxer father, Battling Jack Murdock, in the crime-ridden streets of Hell's Kitchen. Now, Hell's Kitchen is a suburb of New York, much like Campbelltown is to Sydney, except with way less mullets and more Irish people. Matt's childhood was pretty rough. When he wasn't being bullied, he found himself doing stupid stunts and getting himself in trouble with the authorities, which earned him the nickname amongst his peers as Daredevil. One day after being tormented with the title Daredevil, which at this point Matt absolutely hates, he gets into a fight. Now he smashes this bully right in the nose, right in the mouth, and he thinks, wow, Dad's gonna be so proud of me standing up for myself. So he runs home and tells his dad, look, I stood up for myself, I punched this bully out, thinking he's going to get praise, and in fact he receives the opposite. Now it's at this point where Matt's father strikes him. Now Matt's father isn't abusive, but he does this because he's so frustrated with Matt, because he doesn't want him to turn out like he has. Jack at this point is being forced to be a mobster for the Fixer, the local gang lord, and he doesn't want Matt to inherit those evil traits that he has. Matt is shocked by this event, but it teaches him one thing. Teaches him something that will shape him to become the lawyer that he is today. It's that his father is wrong, and if his father is wrong, then anyone can be wrong. It's at this moment he decides to use his intellect, not his fist, to help those around him and help those who have suffered due to broken rules. This is a costly choice for Matt, because the torment doesn't exactly end. Day in day out he's called Daredevil and he's bullied in the playground, but he doesn't fight back. This time he chooses not to strike the people that strike him. He doesn't want to break the rules. Instead, he takes his frustration out at the gym, which is his favourite place on earth at this point. This is where things get interesting for young Matt, and like all great comic book origins, radioactive substance is involved. One day whilst walking home, Matt witnesses a truck heading right towards a blind old man, which is pretty damn ironic. In an act of heroism, Matt runs and pushes this man out of the way, but in doing so, makes the truck lose control, and it flips. As a result, a whole bunch of toxic ooze stuff is spilt all over Matt, and it blinds him. However, in compensation for losing his sight, Daredevil found that his other 4 primary senses had been greatly increased to a superhuman level. Now let me explain how damn good his senses are. Daredevil's sense of smell is so accurate and so acute that he can smell out people by their unique body odors. Even if you mask that shit with all that links, you can never get away from him. His sensitivity to heat is so great, he can sense subtle changes in the air around him. Daredevil's sense of hearing is so insane, he can hear a pin drop in a busy New York street. His sense of touch is even enhanced, so if there's writing on paper, he can read it even if it isn't braille. Also, his sense of taste is so good, he can break things down to a chemical level. So if he drinks a can of Pepsi, he can describe to you everything on it. So yes, he does actually know the 7 secret herbs and spices at KFC. That's actually a comic book. Colonel Sanders comes after him. That isn't, I lied. That isn't a comic, for good reasons. Daredevil's way of seeing and feeling isn't exactly sight, but it's often what he refers to as a world on fire, because what he sees is the density and speed of things like vibrations. Now combine these senses with sick martial arts and Olympic level gymnastics, taught to him by this really mysterious old man named Stick, and you've got one kick-ass vigilante. Now, he's like the world's best seeing eye dog that can't actually see and will kick the ever-living shit out of you. That's what Daredevil is. Now I want to highlight 2 comics that are must-reads if you're interested in picking up something Daredevil. The first is Daredevil, the Man Without Fear. Now this comic is done by legendary writer Frank Miller and artist John Romita Jr. Now, he writes the best Daredevil comic. This is the quintessential Daredevil comic. If you're going to read one, if you don't want to read 2, if you don't want to read anything, please just pick this up. Even if you're not interested in Daredevil, this is a great comic. Now, if you liked The Man Without Fear, this should be your next pickup. This is Daredevil series, written by Mark Waid, and the art is done by Martin Marcus and Paulo Rivera, who are very, very, very good artists. This series is over, so you can pick these all up in trade paperback like this. Each consists of 6 issues, so this one is 1 through 6. And as you can see, the art is pretty awesome. Now see this here? That is a world on fire. That is how Daredevil sees, and that's what I really like about the art in this. It conveys a way that Daredevil sees to the audience super well. It also deals with Daredevil being known as a hero. So this Daredevil comic takes place after an event where Daredevil is outed, where Matt Murdock, I should say, is outed as Daredevil. Now, he denies claims, but kind of results in a pretty traumatic event, and this takes place years later, and he's returning to New York, and he's again putting on the red outfit and being Daredevil. That's it for another episode of Comic Conundrum, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I love covering Daredevil. He's one of my favorites. If there's a favorite you want me to cover, tweet it at me at TheWesty21 or leave it in the comments below. I'm thinking about covering Stiltman in an upcoming episode. I think that'd be a good idea. I'm joking. I think I'll probably do an episode on a particular squad. A particular squad that's been getting a lot of coverage lately. I think I might do an episode on that. So, thanks for watching, guys. Check out our other videos. Check out Nate's science vids and Maude crying at a small Chucky doll. That's always great. Go watch that video. Love you guys. See ya.